Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am flipping a completely trash piece of furniture into something cute in today's video. The before of this table is shocking. It was mouldy. It's probably one of my most trashed up pieces of furniture that I've given a makeover. I was kind of like, can I turn this into something pretty? I think I have done so. You'll see the end result. So I'm going to get straight into it and I'm going to show you how I transformed this mouldy old table into a cute little stool for my niece. So this is the before in all its glory. As you can see, there's an awful lot of mould damage to it. I also had a wobbly leg that I need to fix and it's just pretty much kind of bashed, but aside from the mould, it's not that bad and I do believe it can be salvaged. To kill off the mould, I use this mould remover that I got in Woody's. It has bleach and chlorine in it as well as some other harsh chemicals. Make sure to use this outside. I do talk about mould towards the end of the video. If you want to listen to that, you can make your own DIY mould killer and remover. I was short for time, which is why I use this chemical option. I let this stuff develop and work away for a couple of hours. Also make sure to use this outside, it kind of goes without saying. Once I was happy enough that most of the mould was killed, I went in and I sanded back the piece to its original state. Make sure that you're using mask. Obviously with sanding use a mask, but especially because there was mould on this piece, we do not want to be breathing any of that in. Once I had sanded my piece, I rinsed it in the bathtub. It got really rainy one evening, so I just popped it all in the bathtub and rinsed it down with some sugar soap and I just let it drip dry in the sink. I made sure it was fully dry before I painted it and I painted it the next evening. I decided to turn my table into a stool for my niece, so I had to chop the legs to size. I asked my brother for the measurements of Lily's legs. He gave me a size and then I cut them to size. I measured a million times and marked before I actually cut them, and I was delighted because I was able to chop these to size and I got it first time. So I was really chuffed with myself. Reinforce the legs because some of them were wobbly, I decided to use some wood glue as well as the original kind of bolt that was in it. So the legs just twisted on, but I also added some wood glue on the joints so that it wouldn't go wobbly, and also because I'm making this for my niece, I was terrified that with the leg might, wobble and break off. So double the reinforcement with the glue and the join as well. I gave my whole piece a coat of shellac-based primer. So the shellac-based primer is really good at blocking things. So if there's any stains in a piece, any nasties, if there was, God forbid, any mould left, which I don't think, I was really confident I got all of it off. But if there was anything in the piece, that shellac-based primer is not going to let it seep through. It is a little bit stinky. You don't have to use it on every piece, but just for something like this, that primer is going to seal in anything that needs to be sealed in. the actual colour of the piece, I went for this corally pink colour because it's for my niece Lily and she is a lady, she's a girly girl. So I didn't want to just do it white, I wanted to have a hint of pink. This is paint that's left over from my cabinet DIY. You might recognise this, and I still have loads of it left, so I decided to use it for this project. So that's my mouldy table turned into a stool DIY. I did tackle the mould, but normally I wouldn't touch things like that because you do kind of have to use chemicals to kind of kill it. But I didn't want to throw the table out because it was so cute. It's like the wood on top was perfect. It was just this cute little wooden table, and I was like, I have no space for another table, so I turned it into a stool for my niece, and thankfully I cut the legs and they weren't wonky. If you watch my wood, I turned pallet wood into a little crate. Kind of a disaster. I think it was a Valentine's video. I tried to make a table centerpiece. What I learned from that is when working with wood, you measure a million times and then you cut. So what's it? Measure twice, cut once. That's what I've learned, and it's paid off. My table is all the one length, it's not wobbly and it's not wonky, so I am delighted with that. On the subject of mould, if you do find a piece of furniture that has mould damage, it's kind of coming from two places. Well, it could be coming from many places, but basically it's either where it was stored. So maybe, I don't know where that table was stored, it could have been in a shed and a really damp area, or it could be within the piece. So the moisture and mould could be coming from within. So maybe it's not real wood, it's like a melamine or something, and the seal has broken and inside has gotten damp and the mould is growing. It can happen when you paint fabric. When I painted my fabric chair years ago, I had to make sure each step was fully dry, because if fabric was damp and I painted and waxed and sealed it, you're sealing in moisture. So basically mould is moisture. I did use that mould killer. There is loads of mould removing recipes. Because I only had a few days to work on this project, I used that kind of chemical one. But I know there's like vinegar solutions and stuff. Like within my house, I use the DIY cleaning products. I'll put that video at the end if you want to check that out. I use kind of more nice, natural, homemade cleaning products. I don't often use kind of chemically things like that. It also goes without saying, make sure when you are using them things, you keep them away from pets. So I used that outside and made sure the cats were inside, and any kind of residue, I made sure it was fully rinsed away, because you don't want that stuff getting near your pets. And that goes for a lot of cleaning products. It was only when I changed my cleaning, I feel I've gone into a cleaning rant now. It was only when I was researching, you know, homemade cleaning products and how much better they are compared to the shop bought stuff, I realised how much toxins is in the house. And pets, they absorb it on their fur, especially cats. So there's my cleaning rant. I'll put that video at the end, you can check that out. My last nugget of info before I go is curing time. And it's something that people don't normally talk about. So basically, when you paint a piece of furniture, there's the drying time, which will be on the back of the can, depending on what you use. But there is a curing time. So I have actually only finished painting that chair today and it's touch dry. But before I give it to my niece, I'm gonna wait about a week possibly 2 weeks, because each paint, whether it's chalk paint, satin, eggshell, whatever you use, spray paint, it all has a curing time, and it's basically a time for it all to just cure and settle. So if my niece was to hop on that stool straight away and kick it with her foot, she could chip it. The paint could, you know, even though it's touch dry, it could still, you know, possibly smudge. So wait a week or two if you are doing a stool or something and it's gonna get used straight away. Just be mindful that it's most fragile in its first kind of week, and just allow it to cure. So if you're doing something like a kitchen table, kitchen cabinets, the cabinets I've done upstairs in my bedroom, just be mindful. Go on to Pinterest and just search cure time, and it will give you the cure time for each kind of type of paint, whether it's satin or eggshell. So just a little tip. I don't hear people talking about cure time, but it is important if you want to have a good paint job and you want it to last over time. That's all my nuggets of info for this week. If you enjoyed my little stool makeover, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and it's your first time stumbling over my videos, do hit the subscribe button. A massive 58% of people, according to my analytics, are watching my videos, but they're not actually subscribed. So if you don't want to miss out on future videos, just make sure that you are subbed. Hit the sub, cheeky thumbs up. That is it for this week. Happy Easter. It's Easter on Sunday, so I hope you all have a lovely Easter weekend. Lots of chocolates. I also have 2 Easter DIY videos if you want to check them out as well. If it's raining or you need a crafty rainy day afternoon, you can check them out. That's it for this week. I will catch you in the next one. Bye everyone.